Shadowlands, the best expansion and story we had in a long time. Whoa, wait. Did I write this script while drunk? Anyway, let me start again then. Shadowlands, one of the worst expansions ever when it comes to the story. I don't think Blizzard ever fucked up the story so badly as they did right now. This is a big oopsie, that will go down in the history books. But why did Shadowlands' story fail though? What was the reason? There are more than just one reason, and the failure of the story didn't start in Shadowlands. Now, as always, take everything that I say with a grain of salt. Plus reminder to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Each new subscriber increases my luck for a new mount drop in WoW. When you start your journey to create a brand new amazing world, you must start of course with the world itself. It's not enough just to form some basic continents, areas and names. The first step when building a world is to actually write down the rules, the main guidelines for that said world. Does it have magic systems? How do they work? Who can use those magic systems? Is there anything that can block them? You get the idea. This is the point where Blizzard's story fails. Yeah, right from the start. Because they failed to set clear rules for their world. And on top of that, they completely ignored the rules they already had. Why do you think they tried to use the jailer to rewrite the rules of the universe? From one ignored rule, what came after was just a cascade of issues and plot holes. And you wanna know what's the main and greatest breaking point of WoW? It happened in Cataclysm by having the dragon aspects lose their power and become mortals. Why the fuck did that happen? What was the point of it? The dragon aspects were the main protectors of Azeroth, and by having them mortal, they basically killed them off without actually killing them. At the beginning they were the main ones that kept Azeroth safe, and then suddenly that protection just went off. Why? They did this because they wanted Garrosh to escape in Draenor, but they didn't want Nosdormu to find out where he is? There is no need to actually kill off an entire flight of dragons, but instead create something that blocks the power of the Bronzeflight. Easy. The infinite dragons already could hide themselves pretty well and wreak havoc in the Caverns of Time dungeons. By making the dragonflights mortal, they fucked up the entire WoW story. You might say that the jailer is a bigger issue in this case, but I'm gonna have to disagree. The mortality of dragons was their first time when they broke their own rules. Once you allow yourself to break one single rule, it will become easier and easier to ignore them all and just go bananas. This is a trap in which many writers fall. How do you prevent your plots from falling apart? One solution is to set up anchors, plot devices that can be used to fix potential plot holes. Did you do an oopsie? No problem. Try and solve your issues with your anchors. I would consider the dragonflight to be anchors for the story. And the main ones are the bronze dragons because they can control time and can travel between the timelines. The bronze dragons can be used to save what remains of this broken story. But sadly, these anchors had been flawed right from the beginning too. Good job, Blizzard. So Ysera knows the Emerald Dream, but somehow she was not aware of the Shadowlands? And Neltaria knew everything about Azeroth, but somehow he didn't know that Azeroth is a massive titan that one day was supposed to be awakened? Maybe there are some good explanations for all these things, but if you need a lore guru to understand something, then your story failed. Can you see the downwards trend with WoW's story? No need to actually dig out all the plot points where everything falls apart. Let's just get to the jailer. What was the point of the jailer? He wanted to rewrite the rules of the universe. Why though? Why after so many years? Because finally Blizzard realized how big they fucked up the story, and they are like, let's shove everything under the carpet and rewrite everything. They are aware about their fuck-ups. Now, do you believe that the next expansion is dragon themed just for some random coincidence? Remember when I said their first major oopsie was when they made the dragons lose their power? Yep, they want to return to the dragons and fix them back. Or better said, we will fix them. Here is a short summary of my predictions for the next expansion. Maybe I will even make a more in-depth video on this. I don't know yet. We will each choose a dragon aspect as our main aspect, similar to how the Covenant worked. But hopefully this time there won't be that many limitations and we will be able to actually help all dragon aspects at the same time. By aligning with a main flight, our characters will get some dragon-like powers that will make us even more capable of protecting Azeroth together with the dragons. Maybe we will finally get rid of that random sword in Azeroth. Remember that sword? Yeah, that one. Bonus points if our characters will be able to transform into a dragon, similar to how the legendary stuff worked. Even more bonus points if we get a new allied race that is a dragon. I will sell my soul for an allied race that can do that. I will sell my soul twice if we can do combat well in dragon form. This would be the TLDR of my predictions. Another important plot point or anchor are the Titans, but I will not get too much involved with them since I personally am not a big fan of them because of all the robot nonsense. The next expansion is clearly revolving around the dragon aspect, so they are going to probably play a bigger role compared to the Titans. I'm more of a fan of the dragon aspects and the old gods. In my opinion, they are better than the Titans, and they are also more interesting. Give me dragons and badass old gods, and I'm a happy girl. Many will point to the writers. You kinda are right, but you are also kinda wrong too. WoW is a story that started more than 20 years ago. That's a real long time. Of course details will be lost, of course plot holes will exist. Shit will happen and that's alright. My issue is with the way they deal with their plot holes, aka they ignore them and they continue to build on top of plot holes to create an even bigger hole in the end. In the past, the story was a lot smaller and easier to understand, but over time everything got more and more complicated. They took bits and pieces from each timeline, plotline and expansion, and by using those bits they've built new expansions and new plots. But they failed to judge if those bits were working well together, and they failed to see if their resolutions to the plotlines were also working. Or worse, they didn't even finish all the plotlines. How many times did we get an amazing storyline only to discover it was a dead end? It happened quite often. One writer made its own version of some plotline, then another one did the same with a different plotline. They didn't actually communicate well between them, and that's how we get so many contradictions in the Shadowlands story. Are the writers themselves bad? Not really, but they did fuck everything up, and something tells me they've been under a lot of pressure lately, and we all know that creative work can't really be forced out that easily. Creative work takes time, and if you don't have enough time to actually see and judge the story from the point of view of each rule for the world, failures will happen. And they did happen. The best expansions were the ones where the story was more basic and simple, with each plotline having a solution instead of having a cliffhanger. What a fucking surprise, right? Who would have thought? They wanted to go into cosmic power play, believing that people actually loved that. But this was one of their biggest mistakes, because nobody wanted this. I don't care about the jailer. I just want Blizzard to stop killing off amazing characters. I just want my Arthas and Azot back. Do I ask for too much? Blizzard should really stop messing around with beloved characters. Yes, Blizzard are the ones that create the story. Yes, they are the ones controlling the story. But who is enjoying the story? Who is the judge of the story? We are, the players. If you introduce an amazing character like Arthas that has been built on since Warcraft 3, then you fucking kill him off in some dead-ass cinematic, of course nobody will be happy. Blizzard really fails to understand that we all get attached to characters. We will love them, and we will want them there. Every single character that I really liked has been killed off. Arthas, Varian, N'Zoth, Garrosh, Ysera, Sylvanas. Now, Ysera and Sylvanas are not actually dead, but Blizzard has really messed them up. Even the Death Knight Koltira got fucked up, and he now refuses to talk with my poor Death Knight girl. We never got to know what happened with him while he was the prisoner of Sylvanas. I was hoping my Death Knight could date that awesome guy, but I guess my character will remain single for a long time instead. Instead of giving us answers to storylines that had a dead end, we got shitty robots and cosmic power play. The jailer isn't necessarily the worst character ever, but the way he got introduced was the worst possible. We didn't understand his motives, we never got to truly know him, and as a consequence, nobody got attached to him. Nobody gives a fuck. And honestly, why the fuck introduce a new junky villain when we already have N'Zoth and the Void Lords? N'Zoth is the best villain in the entire game. He can create multiple realities, he can deceive us at any given moment, and on top of that, have you heard his voice?
Ny'alotha will consume you.
I wanna see N'Zoth in a human form, and I would love to be deceived by him for the rest of my life. Imagine all the amazing art we could get with him. If you know what I mean. Who knows, maybe Shadowlands wasn't even real in the first place. What if we are in a coma, or in one of N'Zoth's visions? What if the jailer isn't even real? That will be amazing. It will erase all this bullshit that happened in Shadowlands. This would make the expansion completely useless, but I'd rather have wasted time as long as the story is okay. N'Zoth is an old villain. We know him, we know his ambitions and goals. Or so we believe. What if he is actually our ally, and we don't know yet? What if he knows how bad the Void Lords are, and he no longer agrees with them, and instead N'Zoth joins us? There are so many amazing ideas that Blizzard could do with the characters that we already have and we already love. We no longer need new villains. We already have amazing villains. Just stop killing them off. The story failed because Blizzard doesn't understand what makes their story good in the first place. It's not about big brain moves. It's not about cliffhangers. It's all about the characters. As long as the characters are good, the story doesn't need some big brain plot to be acceptable. Stop ruining our beloved characters. This is not Game of Thrones, and we don't want WoW to be like that. Blizzard believes we want new exciting characters when in reality we want new exciting systems in the game. Illidan is an old character and nobody complained when he returned in Legion. Bring back the Golden Age characters and make the existing characters great. Instead of creating new jailers, how about removing the shitty time gating we have in the game right now? How about fixing your shitty in-game system first? I don't know, this could easily save WoW, you know. I'm just saying. Blizzard's management needs to give more time and freedom to their writers, and the writers must communicate better between them, and also they need to actually listen and communicate with the player base itself. And the player base must understand that it's not the writer's fault. There is a reason why the best stories throughout history had only one writer and not an entire team. When you put together a bunch of writers, if they are not organized well, they will contradict each other without them even wanting this to happen. Each writer will have its own vision for the story, and that's normal, that's okay. But there will be a constant tug-of-war on who gets to decide the direction of the story. That's the problem. The writers had been set up to fail because of Blizzard's management. Of course, the writers have a part of fault too, but it's not entirely their fault. We don't know how much pressure is on them. We don't know what deadlines they have. Instead of starting a crusade against the writers, how about trying to ally with them and maybe help them somehow? Hope you enjoyed this video and my mini rant about the story. What part of the story do you hate the most? Let me know in the comment section. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, or follow me on Twitch. I won't go into streaming yet, but by the end of this year I will for sure explore this idea more. See you next time.